Listen carefully. The symphony of healing is about to begin. My name is Dr. Olivia Nakamura, and this is the story of how my noise obsession revolutionized modern medicine. But to understand how we got here, we need to start with a little girl who heard music in everything. Growing up in Portland, Oregon, I was surrounded by a family of traditional medical practitioners. My mother was a neurologist, my father a surgeon, and my uncle headed the neurology department at Oregon Health Science University. Everyone expected me to follow the same path. Instead, I spent my time creating intricate wind chime arrangements and studying how different sounds affected people's moods and physical responses. Olivia-chan, my grandmother would say, shaking her head, medicine isn't about pretty sounds, it's about science. What they didn't understand was that I was doing science, just not the kind they recognized. Every chime arrangement was an experiment. Every sound pattern a data point in what would later become the foundation of harmonic resonance therapy, HRT. The breaking point came during my senior year of high school, while my cousins were celebrating their medical school acceptances. I announced my decision to pursue a double major in music therapy and neuroscience. Wind chimes won't cure cancer, my uncle said dismissively. You're throwing away your medical legacy. I met his gaze steadily and replied, No, Uncle David, I'm expanding it. At Berklee College of Music, combined with courses at MIT, I finally found my academic home. My professors recognized something unique in my approach to sound therapy, while others focused on traditional music therapy methods. I was exploring the neurological and physiological effects of specific sound frequencies and patterns. The breakthrough came during my graduate research. I had been studying how certain frequency combinations affected brainwave patterns, but I realized we were approaching sound therapy too simplistically. We weren't just dealing with audio frequencies, we were working with complex vibrational patterns that could fundamentally alter cellular behavior. Late one night in my sound laboratory, surrounded by my custom-designed therapeutic instruments, I had my epiphany. Traditional medicine treated the body as a chemical system, but what if we could address it as a vibrational one? Every cell, every organ, every system had its own frequency. What if we could tune them like instruments in an orchestra? I developed a revolutionary approach that combined advanced acoustics with precise neurological monitoring. My system, which I called harmonic resonance therapy, used specially designed instruments and frequency patterns to create healing vibrations that could target specific medical conditions. My doctoral research caught the attention of Dr. Rebecca Chen, a pioneering researcher in alternative medicine at Stanford. She offered me a position in her laboratory, along with resources to develop my theories further. My family's reaction was predictable. Sound research? My mother exclaimed. Your cousin just became chief of neurosurgery. But I had stopped seeking their approval. 2 weeks after graduation, I was setting up my first clinical trial, my heart resonating with possibility. The initial results exceeded everyone's expectations. Within 6 months, our pilot study showed significant improvement in patients with treatment-resistant conditions, particularly in neurological and chronic pain disorders. But what really set HRT apart was its ability to work alongside traditional treatments, enhancing their effectiveness while reducing side effects. Dr. Chen was ecstatic. Olivia, this isn't just alternative medicine, it's the future of healing. Word spread quickly in the medical community. Hospitals began requesting trials, and research institutions worldwide wanted to study our methods. But it wasn't until the post-pandemic neurological crisis of 2024 that our work caught global attention. The crisis had left millions suffering from debilitating neurological symptoms that resisted conventional treatments, while traditional medical approaches struggled. HRT showed remarkable success in treating these new conditions. Our sound therapy protocols helped patients recover functions that traditional medicine had deemed permanently lost. The World Health Organization took notice. Suddenly, I was being invited to speak at international medical conferences, consulted by health ministries, and featured in medical journals. HRT was being implemented in major hospitals worldwide, and similar programs were starting in developing nations. Yet my family remained skeptical. Sound therapy isn't real medicine, my uncle said during one of our rare family gatherings. You could be running a real neurology department by now. I didn't bother arguing. The results spoke for themselves. By 2025, HRT had successfully treated over 100,000 patients with conditions ranging from chronic pain to neurological disorders. Our clinical data was irrefutable. Healing through sound was no longer alternative medicine. It was a proven treatment modality. Which brings us to today. Standing up at this international medical conference, facing a room full of health professionals, researchers, and yes, my family, finally here to witness what their noisemaker had become. My uncle's dismissive comment still hung in the air, "Olivia's making noise again." But as I looked out at the sea of faces, at the screens showing real-time neurological data from our treatments, I felt only certainty. The cameras flashed as I began to speak. 20 years ago, a little girl believed that sound could heal. Today, I'm here to tell you that she was right. Our bodies aren't just chemical machines, they're symphonies of vibration, and we now have the tools to conduct them back to health. I clicked to the first slide, showing the complex wave patterns of our therapy. When traditional treatments couldn't help the victims of the neurological crisis, we had to think differently. We stopped fighting the body's natural frequencies and started harmonizing with them. For the next hour, I explained the science behind HRT, the precise frequency combinations, the neurological monitoring systems, the way we created personalized healing symphonies for each patient, but more importantly, I shared our vision. We can transform medicine, I declared, not by replacing traditional treatments, but by enhancing them through the power of therapeutic sound. The healing we needed wasn't just in pharmaceuticals or surgery, it was in understanding and working with the body's own vibrational nature. The presentation ended with recent footage of patients recovering through our therapy, people walking who had been told they never would again, chronic pain sufferers finding relief, neurological patients regaining functions. The applause was thunderous. Later, at the reception, my family approached. My mother's eyes were wet with tears. "Olivia," she said softly, "we were wrong, so wrong." My father, ever the surgeon, had questions about the neurological mechanisms and cellular responses. Even my uncle, the skeptic, was particularly interested in integrating HRT into his department's treatment protocols. "You really did create a new kind of medicine," he admitted, hugging me tightly, with wind chimes, of all things. But the most meaningful moment came when a young girl approached me, holding a small musical instrument. "Dr. Nakamura," she said shyly, "I want to be like you when I grow up. My parents say playing with sounds isn't real science, but..." I knelt down to her level. "Let me tell you a secret," I said, smiling. "Every medical breakthrough begins with curiosity, and every great discovery starts with questioning the conventional. Never let anyone tell you your ideas are too different or too strange." That evening, I stood on my hotel balcony, listening to the city's symphony of sounds. My phone was buzzing with messages, congratulations, collaboration requests, interview invitations, but my thoughts were in that long-ago bedroom, where a little girl believed in the healing power of sound. The next morning, I was back in my laboratory, fine-tuning our latest therapeutic instruments, because while awards and recognition are nice, the real reward is watching patients heal. Every successful treatment, every pain-free smile, every restored function, these are the true measures of success. My team has grown now. Young researchers from around the world come to learn our methods, each bringing their own insights and innovations. We've expanded beyond neurological conditions, adapting our therapy for cardiovascular health, immune system support, and mental health treatment. The work isn't always easy. We face challenges from skeptics, regulatory hurdles, and the complexity of human health. But every time I see data showing another successful treatment, I know we're on the right path. Last week, I received a package from my grandmother. Inside was my first wind chime, the one she had called a distraction from real medicine. She'd kept it all these years. Tucked inside was a note. "Dear Olivia-chan, I kept this to remind me of how wrong we were. Your noise wasn't just playing, it was research. It was innovation. It was a new way of healing. We're sorry we didn't understand sooner. You didn't just create a new therapy. You showed us a new way of understanding medicine. Love, Obacon." I keep that wind chime in my office now, alongside our sophisticated therapeutic instruments and monitoring equipment. It reminds me that great achievements often grow from simple beginnings, that healing can take many forms, and that sometimes, the most powerful medicine comes from listening to your intuition. As I write this, I'm preparing for another day of treatments. My instruments will sing, my patients will heal, and somewhere, another person will find relief through the power of sound. My uncle might still think I'm making noise, but I know better. I'm conducting the symphony of healing, one frequency at a time. And to that little girl with her wind chimes, believing in the healing power of sound, you were right all along. Keep experimenting, keep dreaming, keep believing. The world needs your kind of medicine. Today, when people ask me what I do, I don't say I'm a neurologist or a sound therapist or even an acoustic medicine specialist. I tell them I'm a healing harmonist, because that's what my work is really about, listening to the body's own music, understanding its rhythms, and helping it find its way back to health. Medicine is evolving, faster than anyone thought possible. Our method has been adopted by hospitals in over 60 countries. The World Health Organization has established new guidelines for acoustic medicine based on our research, and every day, more people are beginning to understand what that little girl in Portland knew all along, that healing isn't just about chemicals and surgery, it's about finding the right frequency for each individual's symphony of life. My family now jokes that they should have invested in my noisemaking years ago, but this was never about money or success in the traditional sense. It was about proving that intuition, when combined with rigorous science, can lead to breakthroughs that change lives. As I prepare for my next presentation at the Global Health Summit, I think about all the other dreamers out there, the ones being told their ideas are too strange, their approaches too unconventional. To them, I say, hold on to your vision, nurture it like a precious melody, because you never know which unique perspective might grow into a solution that transforms medicine. The hospitals are humming with healing frequencies, and somewhere in Portland, in another bedroom laboratory, new experiments are taking shape. My niece has started creating her own therapeutic instruments, much to everyone's amusement, but this time, no one's calling it just noise. After all, they know better now. Sometimes, the biggest breakthroughs start with the simplest sounds. And as for me, I'm still making music with my wind chimes, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 10 years have passed since that international medical conference. The harmonic resonance therapy program has exceeded our wildest expectations. Over 90% of major medical centers now include some form of acoustic medicine in their treatment protocols. Patient outcomes have improved dramatically, and healthcare providers report more holistic, effective healing than they've seen in generations. My old bedroom in Portland has been preserved as an educational center, where medical students come to learn about the foundations of acoustic medicine and explore their own innovative approaches to healing. My grandmother leads workshops there now, proudly explaining how her granddaughter's noise obsession revolutionized modern medicine. The young girl who approached me at the conference? She's now one of our leading researchers, developing new applications of sound therapy for pediatric conditions. When I see her working in our laboratories, that same look of wonder in her eyes that I had at her age, I know our legacy is in good hands. Last month, I received the highest honor of my career, not another medical award or WHO recognition, but a letter from a former patient who had been told she would never walk again. It contained a small crystal singing bowl and these words: Dr. Nakamura, you helped me remember what my body knew all along, that healing is about finding the right resonance. This bowl was the first instrument I bought after regaining my mobility. Keep it, and remember that your work has created ripples of hope across the world. That bowl now sits in a special place in my laboratory, alongside my first wind chimes. It reminds me that every great achievement starts with a simple belief that something as ethereal as sound can have profound healing power. To anyone reading this who's being told their ideas are too different, their methods too unconventional, or their vision too radical, remember my story. Remember that medicine needs all kinds of minds, all kinds of approaches, all kinds of healing. And sometimes, just sometimes, making noise can save lives.